Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest, previous novels have been featured, a featured book club pick for GMA and Reese Witherspoon. But her first thriller has the ultimate stamp of approval. It's endorsed by Stephen King. Here to share the story behind the return of Ellie Black, we welcome best-selling author, Vancouver's own Emiko. Good to have you with us.
Hi,
yeah, you just live across the river in my neck of the woods. I love
close
that.
by. We're neighbors.
Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so tell me about your first thriller and your reaction to Stephen King saying this: page-turning, suspense novel, a shrewd character study, and a captivating mystery. I couldn't put it down. Stephen King said that about your book.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. When I wrote the book and when we were preparing to publish it, my editor asked for a list of names, like, who do you think you want to blurb this book, like, pie in the sky, like who would be your and I wrote Stephen King on the list, and then she's like, okay, let's write him a letter and ask him to blurb the book. And I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna write Stephen King a letter.
Right.
I felt kind of even like foolish addressing a letter to him. And so we wrote it and I sent it off, and I didn't hear anything, and I deliberately forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then late one night, I got an email from my editor who lives in New York, so it was really late in New York. And it just had Stephen King in all capitals with exclamation points. And the email was really simple. It just said that he enjoyed the book, and then he had this wonderful blurb. And,
oh my gosh.
And I was all smiles.
Wow. Okay, tell me about the story, The Return of Ellie Black. I know you have this thing for like young women who go missing and then come back, right? Because I love true crime. You love true crime stories, and those stories are especially fascinating.
Yeah.
Not sure why I find them fascinating, but I do. Is it the challenge of the girl coming back and kind of like really learning about what happened while she was gone? Or?
Yeah. So the novel is all about, it features Chelsea Calhoun, who's a small-town detective, and her life is turned upside down when Ellie Black, a long-missing teen, resurfaces in the Washington woods 2 years after her disappearance. And it was inspired by my love for true crime, and especially stories about kidnapped victims that have returned.
Right.
And I think the reason why I'm so interested in that is just they're tales about survival and about how humans can survive something that might have otherwise destroyed them.
Right, absolutely. And you mentioned found in a Washington forest or disappeared in a Washington forest. So you do use the Northwest as kind of settings.
Oh yeah, the Pacific Northwest is a great setting for, I think, for crime
isn't
novels.
It? Yeah.
Because of the rain and the gray skies and kind of the moody
mist,
weather. Yeah, and this particular novel is set in Coldwell, which is a fictional town, but it's based on a real town, Long Beach, Washington.
Oh, perfect.
And Long Beach, if anyone's familiar with the geography of Washington, it sits on that like narrow, thin strip of land. There's only one way in and one way out.
Yeah.
It's on the edge of the Cascadia subduction zone, so if there's ever a big earthquake and there's a tsunami, then most of the town will be underwater. And I just thought it paired well with kind of this survival theme in the novel, this like existential threat always looming over the town and its inhabitants.
Well, and you also use your Japanese heritage too, right, to display that. So tell me about that. Yeah,
so Chelsea Calhoun is Japanese American. She's been adopted into a white family. And the book isn't really necessarily about her identity. That's not like her issue that she needs to solve or reconcile, but it is part of her life. And so we kind of see through that lens, growing up in a very small town that's mostly white and how that's impacted her. She's a little bit more insular. She's a little bit more stoic.
And did your family try to make sure that you understood being Japanese, having that heritage?
Yeah, they did. My dad is Japanese and my mom is white, and I grew up going to an all-Japanese church in in Southeast Portland. It's still there today, and that was always a big part of our lives.
I know we have a picture of you being dressed up in like a kimono.
Oh,
and
really?
all that. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
So you posted this like for Halloween, but that's not what you meant. This was more like about I think making sure you understood where you came from.
Yeah, and I actually danced Odori, which is traditional Japanese dance, for a good part of my life. And I think that maybe that Instagram post was just reminding people that that cultural things like kimonos aren't necessarily great costumes.
Yeah, it's not meant for a costume. Yeah. I gotcha. So you have two twins. You have a set of twins. Tell me about life as a mom, as a writer, and as a mom. How that all works, because that's got to be a lot.
It's really tough, and the first kind of 4 years of their lives is a blur. But now
and yet you were prolific during that time as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think writing is kind of my escape and my purpose. I find it very cathartic, and I write about Emiko in Real Life, which was the GMA book club pick. I wrote a lot about motherhood, so I was able to channel a lot of my experiences into writing.
Yeah.
So I find it very cathartic, but they're in kindergarten now, which is so exciting, and I feel like I'm breathing a little bit easier. Like the first 4 years, you're kind of just trying to keep them alive, trying to make sure you have one that's going towards like a sharp corner and one that's going towards scissors, and you kind of have to choose. So it's a little tense, but once they hit that age, like 4 or 5, you're able to kind of sit and like take it in a little bit more.
Yeah, you're doing amazing. You have young adult novels, you have the adult novels, and then now this thriller. It's incredible. And you are at Powell's Books at Cedar Hills Crossing in Beaverton. That is tonight at 7 o'clock. The book again is titled The Return of Ellie Black. Emiko Jean, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you come back on, because I know there's going to be another book.
Yes.
So you have to come back. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.